All right, hello everyone. We are now officially in the wake of the 70th anniversary of Godzilla, and what better way to celebrate this new year of Godzilla than with the man who single-handedly tried to bankrupt us all this weekend with all of his product, Mr. Brian Flynn. Welcome back. How you doing, Brian?
Good. I'm not trying to necessarily bankrupt you. It's just that, everybody else is catching on to how exciting Godzilla is. And so everybody wants a little piece. So it ends up getting a little bit bigger and bigger. But before we get that, I think it's very important that we talk about your background right now.
Yes.
Now, we're all used to seeing the toys and different things, but now there's a baby crib.
Yes.
So, I want to just sort of put everybody here, look at the priorities right now. Baby crib, and literally pushed up to the baby crib, Godzilla boxes.
Yes. So we are currently at the tail end of a renovation. We needed somewhere for the baby to sleep because they were working on the room right next to her nursery. And so I've had the baby sleeping down here, and I've been kicked out of the basement during those naps. But
I just find the juxtaposition to wonderful, actually.
Yeah, and there's even more just
around the corner, and the baby blanket on the couch right there with what looks to be the stroller behind the couch.
Yes.
It's just like, no. This is what real life actually looks like.
Yes. The real world is colliding with my with the world of Godzilla.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, Brian, 70th anniversary of Godzilla. We know how you as the Super7 owner celebrated, but how about you as the fan? How did you do anything to celebrate this weekend?
Actually, all weekend we were dealing with my oldest daughter's play rehearsals. Mm-hmm. She's a junior in high school, so it's a very elaborate play. So we were dealing with that, and as well as a couple soccer games for other kids. So no, I didn't do anything to celebrate other than make sure product went live on time.
You saw the announcement, I presume, about a new Godzilla movie coming?
I might have known about it beforehand, but yes.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
Now we're talking.
It's a great, of course, I think everybody's like, come on, you got to come back for more. Like,
yes.
Look what we just built together. We got to do this again.
Yeah. And I think there was news out of New York Comic Con that Yamazaki was asked, like, if you could bring in a monster into a new Godzilla movie, who would you bring? And he said Hedorah. Do you have any thoughts about that? Any feelings?
I know nothing more than it's happening. I have been told nothing else other than it's going to happen. So I don't know anything. But of course, I would almost say that there's never a bad time for Hedorah, but I'm on the fence with Final Wars Hedorah. So
okay, understood.
Just so I can't make a platitude that says there's never a bad time for Hedorah. There's never a bad time for old Hedorah. Yeah, how you reinterpret Hedorah matters.
Yes. Yeah, definitely agree with you there. Well, it's funny. When I initially reached out to book this call, I had like 4 things on the docket. It was like new reaction, Super Kaiju, and maybe Blazing Godzilla. And then Jen was like, well, why don't we push it to after Godzilla Day? There might be some stuff to talk about. I was like, oh, okay. And now there's just like, there's so much. And I think you've got some samples in hand that we can walk through. So
I actually prepared because I didn't actually, as anybody, for those of you, this was supposed to start at 1:00, and at 1:00 I got on and said, hold on, I got to go get the samples. So I was mentally prepared. Physically, still had to go do it.
For sure. Now, not to delay the goodness that came through Godzilla Day, but some other stuff has come up since our last conversation that we should probably talk about a little bit first. So here on the left side, we've got reaction series. I think it's 6 on the website, but if you look at the card back, it says 5.
I think technically it's because the website is probably drafting off our internal timelines, and then they would have said like, oh, this New York Comic-Con wave or this San Diego wave technically happened, and so it'll sometimes get named weird, where we know that that's actually just repaints and not a full wave.
Right.
But sometimes it will automatically go, no, chronologically this is the next wave, and you're like, then we have to manually go back and fix it.
Yeah. So we have this wave. We've got a charging up version of G74, but new to the line, we've got Godzilla 64 and King Caesar, which is amazing. King Caesar doesn't often get articulated action figure love.
Yeah, he doesn't get a lot of love in general.
Yeah, that's true.
But
yeah, great. So what does it mean to bring King Caesar into the line?
You know, I don't know about what does it mean to be King Caesar. I think it's more just as a whole. It's like, I'm going to get to everybody. I'm going to get to all of it. There is no character too deep. Well, that's not true. Manda might be too deep. We'll see.
Okay.
But, yeah, it's like, I want to get to everybody. And yeah, it's really cool because King Caesar very rarely gets made or mentioned. So I think he's one of those sort of really cool key characters.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, when you don't get to see them too often, it's really a special moment when you do get to see them. Around this series, we also got, like, and we talked about this before, we got the vintage hetero colorways, we got the Skeleton Godzilla on card back, and I just wanted to check in to ask, with so much stuff happening around the series, is that playing into why this is a wave of 3 figures, like, or is this sort of the normal going forward?
It's not so much that it's a normal going forward. There's bits and pieces of it that all overlap depending on where it comes out, who's buying into it, who's not buying into it, where it's getting distributed. So in a case like this wave sort of debuted at Target. And generally speaking, our Target set will be 4 figures. So this set that came in were these 3 figures plus the Skeleton Godzilla.
Gotcha.
Those were the 4 that got set. So technically, if you're looking at it theoretically in a vacuum, you'd be like, oh, the wave is all 4 of these figures. But the reality is Skeleton Godzilla is a recolor from an older figure.
Yes. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Like, you know, if you're having product landing at the same time, even if it's not technically in the wave, it's still in front of the customer, and customer's only going to spend so much, right?
Well, it's sort of like usually the figure comes out on card first, right? Then if there's an opportunity for glow, that'll happen on sort of the Japanese language glow card backs. That style, they all kind of hang together. And those generally are more like, you know, like I said, conventions and special moments that we do those.
Right.
And then if there's a third opportunity, then it really becomes into something that's custom. It could be a box set. It could be blind boxes. It could be, you know, the Stern pinball cards or different things like that, where it becomes a special item. In the way, if you look at it, typically the process would be every sculpt starts on card before it moves into other iteratives. But Skeleton Godzilla sort of messed that whole plan up.
Right.
So there you go.
Yeah. And Skeleton, the boxed set was so cool, but it sold out so quickly that I think coming on the card back was not expected, but like you kind of had the idea that like there's no way that they're gonna miss the chance to put this on card back.
Well, and also once again, it's not that I don't want people to have the opportunity to get it, and you can never know how popular or unpopular something's going to be sometimes, especially when you're, you know, Skeleton Godzilla, we're getting really into a, you know, a deep, dark underwater cut here. So that was the same thing. It's like, we want to bring it out now and let everybody, it was popular, so let's make sure everybody can get it.
These figures are great, and I'm super stoked on the reaction line. I'm always looking forward to what comes next. King Caesar.
There's a lot coming next, right?
That's music to my ears. On the back of the skeleton, we see Godzilla 55, Mogera 57. Last year, the glows came out on Godzilla Day, but among all the things that came out on the weekend, these guys were not here. Do you have a sense of?
Do I have a sense? Have I forgotten when they come out? The answer is yes, I have forgotten. Hold on. I can tell you that we have sort of a glow a celebration of all things glow coming up. And in
That's
as much, that's when it's going to happen, but it won't be until the new year.
okay. That's all I could ask for. I have a friend through this hobby who is head over heels for glow stuff, and I already know he's going to be very happy to hear about that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. All right. Next up, you teased this out a little bit last time we talked, and here it
Yes.
is. We have a brand new line exclusive to Target, Super Kaiju, and
Right.
I, not having Target here in Canada, was able to get a couple sent up here.
Yep.
And yeah, what can you tell me about these guys?
Well, first off, why don't you tell me what you think of them?
And I actually do like them more than I thought I was going to for the price that I paid. Some of the I was actually quite surprised with how much articulation there is, considering some of the cuts that are not present. Like, it doesn't have the waist, but
Right.
he's got the forearm swivel, which I didn't think was going to make it, but it did make it. I do like the figures. The I'm very curious to see how these do, because I know that these are on the shelves next to like Bandai's offerings, or maybe Playmate.
Which was a surprise to us.
Yeah, well, I guess you've been working on these guys.
Yeah, we
12
started
months?
on these over a year ago, and this was, downstream from Target basically saying, we'd really love to carry the Ultimates line, but it's far too expensive.
Right.
We need one that's more price point. So how can we get a figure line that is price point sensitive, but has more articulation and more detail? So you have the Reaction line. What is sort of like the line that's in between Ultimates and Reaction? And I think at first blush, when people hold them up, sometimes people think Trendmasters, and it's like, no. They're not like, there's a lot more articulation. There's a lot more detail than the Trendmasters toys in here.
Yeah.
And, we're trying to build up some of the playability is, you'll have a city build scenario that you can start to put together as this line expands. It's off to a good start. It's not like wildfire, but it's off to a good start, and we're all really happy about it. And there's going to, they've already sort of committed to the next 2 waves of this, which will take us to most of next year. It's that same thing. It's like, places like Target just can't take the risk on an Ultimate. The boxes, especially on Godzilla, the boxes are huge. If the boxes get damaged in any way, nobody wants to pay that much money for a beat up box, everything else like that. So it's like, really, the Super Kaiju line was a collaboration with them of like what works for them at their store that they want people to have. And they really want to be one of those homes for Godzilla.
Yeah. That makes total sense to me. And I did a video on these guys, and I gotta say, like, even on the packaging, your packaging team, I feel like they're just getting better and better, because the packaging is so nice. Obviously, like, I still have it despite having it 2 weeks ago at this point. So yeah, I'm actually very curious to see where this line goes. To that point, reaction frequency is about every 6 months. Do you see that being similar for these guys?
Yeah, probably around there. Maybe 5 and 7, depending. But it's going to coordinate with sort of the major set dates that happen at Target. So I think the next major set date is April.
Okay, that sounds good.
March, April is when you'll see the next ones.
Okay. Now, they seem heavily inspired by the Ultimates figures that have come before them. And I wanted to ask you, is that something that we'll continue to see, that they'll be inspired by previous Ultimates, or do you think we might see some new characters or new sculpts in this?
I think you'll see some new stuff mixing in pretty quickly.
Okay. All right. Very cool. And last question. I know you're in partnership with Target on this, and so this line is going to be exclusive to Target. Yeah. But this form factor, is there a chance that we might see like event exclusives of this form factor available from Super7, or is it always going to be at Target?
It's right now, it's always at Target.
Okay. All right. That
I'd
sounds good.
I'd love to tell you I had a solve for you in Canada right now, but I don't.
That's all right. I have some really good friends in the States that are taking care of me. So that's all you can ask for.
Well, I'm glad that you have some good friends that are taking care of you.
And with that, we can start talking about everything that came out this weekend.
Yes, a lot of
I
stuff
know.
came out this weekend.
Yeah, and I think I had these slides here to talk about them, but I think that you've got some stuff right in front of you, and that's probably a
Yeah,
little bit
that's what I
more
went
fun.
and, like I said, not prepared. So as soon as we got on the call, I said, can you give me 5 minutes to go grab stuff from the other room? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, why don't we start going through
Well,
some of
why
these
don't you
items
tell
you
me
got?
what you want to talk about, and then I'll if I've got something, I can show it off. If I don't, I'll just
Okay. The orange Marusan reaction, which is a recolor of the first reaction that is inspired by a recolor that you did with Marusan back in the day. If I have
yes.
my ducks in a row.
So, if anybody's heard me have these interviews, and if you've already, well, you know that this sculpt, the Marusan / Bullmark, depending on which, there we go, tail you're talking about, is my favorite Godzilla sculpt of all time. I love that sculpt. It's my favorite sculpt. So in the early days of Super 7, we started doing lots of recolors with Japanese toy companies. And then as those got really popular, Japanese toy companies would ask us about what other maybe new sculpts we'd like to see. You know, a perfect example would be the standard size Jet Jaguar that M1 made. You know, that was definitely something where we're like, hey, that's a hole in our collection. We want that. And then we made that one that had the pipe cleaners and tinsel, referencing both the Astromu line plus a bunch of the bootlegs that were made with tinsel inside. So it was a really cool nod to that. But
Yeah.
when we're talking about this and you get into Bullmark, the giant size Bullmark, I'm not really a big fan of that sculpt. I never have been. Doesn't mean that I don't have a couple of them, and I appreciate them for what they are. But I want this big. So we approached Marusan about scaling up the Godzilla to giant size scale. And basically, the long and the short, it was like, as long as you guys guarantee to buy X amount, then I'll go ahead and get it going. And eventually it turned into a thing. So we did, I think in the end, 5 recolors. It kept selling really well. We did 5 recolors, I believe, of the giant Marusan Godzilla. We did a clear green that was painted like the Hawaii Bullmark with the metallic green and gold. We did a flesh, but we turned it glow with the blue. We did glow. God, I can't even remember them all. But the last one we did, the 5th one, was glow with orange, because Super 7's favorite color is orange, because my favorite color is orange. That's what we do. And it's kind of painted sort of like the Hawaii flesh, or the flesh. They're not always Hawaii, but colloquially people still call them Hawaii. But the flesh-based Bullmark, but painted with orange for Super 7. So this is a recolor of this reaction figure in the colorway that we did exclusive to Super 7 20 years ago.
That's amazing. I just love how much history you've managed to pack in one release.
Yeah, this 100%. This is all me being this is like every part of being a Godzilla nerd for me.
Yes. Yeah, and I'm really glad to see the reaction figure come back, because when the green one was solicited, the verbiage in the product page said complete your collection today, and I was like, okay, I think that's just like a subtle way of saying like this is going to be the last one, but it's not the last one.
No,
and so I'm very happy to see that.
No, it is not the last one, and I think it is not the last one, and this is not the last one.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll keep this in the recording, but there may have been some listings online that can't really talk about, but it seems like if you like the sculpt, there's some good things on the horizon.
What got leaked?
A blind box series.
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
Yeah, there's this one website that just has been putting out everything. It's just like, oh yeah, this is coming and this is coming. And like,
they get the listings up quick, huh?
Yeah, and like I can't talk about any of this stuff in a conversation with you until it's announced.
I cannot confirm nor deny it, but you know, they got that information from someplace.
They're not just making it up, you know.
They're not making it up. That's true. It'd be kind of funny if they just made up stuff and put it in there and just see who found it.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be kind of funny.
Yeah.
Um
All right. So that is the long history of the glow in the dark Marusan Godzilla.
yes. I wanted to save what I thought was one of the neatest things for last.
Okay.
Do you have the dancing 1965?
Oh, I thought that's what you were going to say was the neatest.
It's still neat. We're just going in order of increasing neatness.
No,
but here we go.
Neatness. All right. So what you're saying is the Marusan was the least neat. All right.
But
fine.
still neat. But still neat.
You know, you don't have to. Don't try to save yourself. You've already dug the hole.
You're right.
Yes, Dancing Godzilla. This is another super fun one. I feel like way overdue. Mm-hmm. Just, you know, like I said, you can't be angry at this. This is just fun.
Yes,
and, super good.
Yeah, you like. Come on, you can't look at this and be like, oh, you can't be a grump. No, that's an amazing scene recreated in reaction.
Yeah, and it's really funny because same thing, like it started out on sort of the traditional Godzilla cards that we normally do, and then they were like, no, we got to make the back of the card look like the planet with the rocks and everything.
Yeah,
Planet X, here you go.
Again, packaging team absolutely nailing it, killing it,
and it totally rests. You can see the tail there, so it sits on the tail, so he's jumping up on your shelf.
Yes, but he does have peg holes in his feet. If somehow you can finagle it.
Well, you know, this is for you to find out.
Next up, the green metallic Hawaii Shogun Ultimate.
Okay, this is this is not a final one. This is the sample that I have here that was actually a rejected color, but it's close.
Gotcha.
There's some changes that we made to it. But yes, Shogun Godzilla, people... It's like every time we make one, as soon as it comes out, people are like, all right, cool, where's the next one?
Yes.
Where's the next one? I need one of those. And so we came back and colored this up to match the Bullmark Hawaii export, which is sort of your standard Godzilla color with the metallic green and the metallic gold down the spines. But obviously it's Shogun Godzilla.
Yeah.
So it's a toy of the 70s repainted like another toy of the 70s from a different company, but made for you here today.
Yeah, it's similarly done to like the San Diego version, the red one with the silver highlights.
Yeah, that was a Popey tribute colorway.
Yes, but that was a Japanese colorway on an American toy. And so you have all your worlds colliding.
Completely.
Do you have the trading cards?
I don't have packs here. I have a few of the sample. I have a sample card, and it's not even one of the base. I have a sample of I have a sample of one of these here. So I have we opened up some of them, but this is one of the inserts in the set. So the base cards are on a foil substrate, and then there's numbered inserts. So there's here we go. You can see the numbering in the corner. So there's a black border version that's numbered out of 54 for black and white. You have a blue bordered numbered of 13. There is a gold border version number of 5, and then there's a silver border 1 of 1. But all the base cards themselves are foil, and then you have your random inserts and subsets. There's also a sticker set that comes along with it. That's the red border outline with the die cut, sort of vintage 70s sticker style. And those are, I mean, they're just sort of coming down. That will be our first sort of modern foil. Like we've done a lot of wax packs in the past. And so this is actually done like a modern trading card set is, with inserts and subsets and parallels and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah. As you were just mentioning a moment ago, there was a website that may have had some listings up, and when I saw this one, I was going back and I was looking at the Peanuts one, the G.I. Joe one, the D&D one, and I was like getting just a sense of what we might expect here. And yeah, they look great.
The cards are great. I really wish I had an actual. I just had a proof card. One, they gave me one of those just to double check everything like was correct. But I haven't gotten the finals yet. I have one uncut sheet of everything for, as it came off the press.
Yes.
So they came off the press before they cut everything and number everything. They send you one of each sheet, so you proof everything to make sure it's correct. So I haven't actually been able to open up any packs yet, but I'm hoping to soon.
Yeah, I'm curious to get some in hand and to check out the foil. And in your chat with Veebs, I think you mentioned that there would be a Showa 2, and then eventually we'd get into Heisei. Is that correct?
There is a Showa 2, yeah, and ideally we go to Heisei. There is we're working on a different set that will happen before those, though. That's almost done. Like, we're just waiting on some image approvals, and there's a separate set that we're working on. But ideally, we would come out with, I don't know, we'll see. It depends. There's a few other licenses, but you get a series of Godzilla cards maybe once a year, or so, along with some others. But they're super fun. I mean, I collected. I don't know if you collected cards when you were a kid or anything.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. There's just some joy and fun in that, and the wax pack side, more than anything, is like there's only really one guy that can make it, so we can only do a couple wax packs a year. So if we want to do any more cards than that, we have to basically go into modern cards. So I was like, if we're going to go into modern cards, let's do it all the way.
Yeah. So yeah, that makes sense to me. One trading card series that I would love to see is if you were to utilize the reaction card back art, because I love the reaction card art, and I just think it would be really fun to be able to chase someone's, like if you had the Hawaiian pink Hedera as like a chase.
Oh, that would be funny.
That would be
stuff.
Yeah, that would make I would buy the cards even though I already have the reaction card backs, but it would be different. Right? Because the reaction, like they're slightly off the card, but if you had a card that showed the full design, I would spend a disagreeable amount of money on that.
Well, hopefully you'll enjoy and spend a disagreeable amount of money collecting the other cards. It's actually not that hard to collect the set. But,
Cool. Next up, you did some Godzilla.com and box lunch reactions.
Yes. So this is they're both sort of anniversary sets. So you have the 60th anniversary of King Ghidorah and the 50th anniversary of Mechagodzilla. So the sets for Godzilla.com are these green with the orange and blue, and this is based off the colorways coming from a vintage bootleg of these guys from the 70s. So there's a deep cut vintage bootleg reference here.
Very neat.
And so this matching set is for Godzilla.com.
Yep.
And then for Box Lunch, what we did basically clear versions. So you've got King Ghidorah in clear yellow over here. So instead of yellow, he's clear yellow with metallic gold spray. And you can't really do clear silver. I mean, you can, but you can't. So we just did clear with silver spray.
Yeah.
So you have basically clear metallics of both Mechagodzilla and King Ghidorah. I've had a couple people reach out to me saying they've had a lot of trouble getting these at Box Lunch. I don't believe Box Lunch is sold out. I think that it's just simply a matter of, they have a lot of product, and while Godzilla Day is an initiative, I think it probably takes them a little longer to get everything into the system, sort of onto the floor or online or something. So I don't believe that they're sold out. I think it's just give it a little time and try to check back in. I think you'll be able to pick them up. Okay.
I'm so glad you touched on that, because the listings went up, I think the day before on November 2nd, and they were sold out before even the Super7 social media posted about it. And
just so everybody knows, on big places like that, they will have an allocation for online, But if they're planning to bring them in store, they have to be segregated beforehand and shipped. So they can't move any physical inventory that's going to store to online if they sell out of online first, because it's in a completely different warehouse and moving to completely different locations. So
Sure.
like I said, I don't know for sure, but I believe that there is more around.
Okay.
But I cannot speak for the inside of their system, but I will. I've had a bunch of messages about that, so I will check in.
Okay.
And then sort of find a way to put it on social and let people know what I find out.
Okay. That sounds great. Awesome. We got a couple of blind box announcements. We have Shogun Wave 2 and then a metallic series.
Yes, Shogun Wave 2. Yeah.
Woo.
Series 2. Once again, the first series sold out so quickly, and we got tons of people asking us like, all right, I'm ready for more. And so this is the next wave. And I think most everybody's seen the pictures, but this is a really great one. Oh, there we go. The Burning Godzilla version. Let's see here. Some of these are open. All right. That is the sort of classic Marusan colorway. There we go. The dark blue-green with the silver spray. There is a Burning Godzilla. There's a Popey Tribute Godzilla, and then there's a clear Godzilla.
Yeah, the clear was a surprise, and it looks really nice. Like, it looks really cool. It's a Ghost Godzilla tribute.
Yeah, Ghost of Godzilla. There is the Popey.
Yeah, and that's a scale down of the Ultimates one we saw earlier this year.
Yeah, colorways. For those of us that love or remember the Popeys, that colorway is super cool.
Yeah. There we go.
Clear.
Very nice.
He did his toes though. He did his nails. Got a pedicure before.
Yeah. Went to the dentist. He got his teeth.
Yeah.
Can we do 4 for 4?
Well, these are already open, so it's easy for me to double check them. Right? Or maybe it's not open. Oh, yep, nope, it's open. Here we go. Somebody's already done. Oh no, that's a Pokemon. All right. So Burning is in here someplace.
Yes.
This is our sample box set. Maybe it's this one. We only get like a certain amount sent to the office. Yeah, here we go.
There we go. Very cool.
That looks.
That's awesome. And again, this is a scale down of the one that came out earlier this year.
Yeah. So, those 4. And yeah, that is Shogun Godzilla Series 2. I don't think they're open, but there is a box of the metallic ones in there, but I don't think it's open. So
okay, that's okay.
But you got the photo.
I've got the photo. Here we go.
Photo. Look at that.
Look at that.
There we go. This is the metallic series as well. Yeah, it's another one where what came back a lot. It's you never quite know what the feedback is, but we always are sort of listening despite what people think. And what people really liked about that first, what they came back about the first series that we did was just how they were like, oh, these are off the wall colors. I really like these wacky colors. Yeah. And so we really tried to go down the route of like, for lack of a better description, classic kaiju spray.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do it in metallics, bright colors, lots of heavy hits. Really just sort of make it pop and fun, and it doesn't necessarily have to have a reference to an existing thing, where everything else is like, this is the reason that I did this,
Right.
This is more like, oh, what's just that looks cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because you go from a series like Silver Screen, which pays an homage to the black and white films, and then you go to like Metallic series where it's just the colors are punching. They're really,
Exactly.
really fierce, really vibrant. The Gigan being reminiscent of the Final Wars color scheme is it's great. That it's a colorway I didn't know that I needed. Um, do you happen to know which one is the chase of this series offhand?
I think it's the clear glitter Godzilla.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think that's the chase.
Very cool. And G57 makes a comeback. Always cool to see. Cool to see him.
Yep.
Megalon. Oh, so good. So
Yeah,
good.
super fun.
Speaking of super fun.
What a transition. Unintentional, but yes, that's why it's named that. So there you go.
Yeah, we have a new product line coming from Super7, the Fun vinyl figures.
Yes. So for anybody that's probably watching this that collects Godzilla toys, they collect Japanese vinyl, most likely, or the Mondo version of Japanese vinyl, or they're familiar with the world of Japanese vinyl. And obviously we've been making, outside of all the other licensed stuff, we've been making Japanese vinyl since 2001.
Yeah.
And one of our most popular characters has been and continues to be our mascot, Mummy Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with this, the biggest hurdle we've had over the years with Mummy Boy is that it's Japanese vinyl. People love it. It's super cute. And then they go, oh, I want one of those. How much is it? And right now it's like, it's $65. And they're like, and no way. I'm not going to buy that. And so we've been working for a long, long time trying to figure out how we can make something like this affordable. And also, there's something about the proportions that in here that we've been making. As you can see, there's Mummy Boy, Pumpkin Boy, Bat Boy up there. Mm-hmm. That really works well. We call it sort of our mascot series. But we can't make that stuff in super large quantities, and we can't make it affordably. So Fun is sort of something we've been working on for a number of years, and this is our answer to that. So it's sort of getting into this world of Japanese vinyl, but cute, but made in China with a higher quality vinyl. So if you think about, if anybody's seen our supersize figures, those are made in China and not in Japan. And we've managed to get really high quality vinyl out of China at some better prices. And although they'll be like $300, I'm like, it's this big, it's got soft goods, like whatever. So we've been working on how do we take this and mix it with this to bring our point of view around vinyl to an affordable place. So these are $25 each in box, as opposed to, like, if this was made in Japan, this would be $75.
Right.
So this new line, and it's a thing, it's like, this is collecting this stuff has been for me, this is my gateway into all of this, aside from Shogun Warriors. It's fun. It's supposed to be enjoyable. And so really what with this is that we really just wanted these figures to feel like fun. And that's where the Fun name came from, which was just like, that's how I want to think about this. When you see it, when you feel it, when you hold it, you're like, oh, that's fun. I enjoy that. And it's 2 parts slush mold vinyl. It's not pressure pot vinyl. It's not chalky low temperature vinyl. Like, it's good stuff. So this is the very first of the Funs. They will be coming to market in February, but we wanted to do a little tease for Godzilla Day.
Yeah, that's amazing. I had my friend who loves the glow. He said, I hope they make one in glow. Like, I would definitely buy that one. And I just told him, I said, if you know anything about Brian, he's gonna be trying to make it in glow. Okay, don't worry about it.
Don't worry. You're gonna be all right. I don't know when, but one of these days you're gonna wake up and there he's gonna be. He's apparently Italian. I don't know why, but
Yeah, and it's so cool to see because like Super 7's history with making vinyl Godzilla figures, it's so nice to see the return to vinyl because when you're doing reaction, you're doing all these amazing fun colorways, yes, but now we're coming back to where it all started with vinyl figures.
Yeah, and I would love to say, I think the hardest part, and not to get too far off tangent, is the hardest part for us is that because we've been making stuff in Japan for so long, is why we're not able to do it the way other companies can now.
Right.
Because um, for I'm not going to go into all the names of the factories or anything else, but for lack of a better description, we work with the oldest and largest Japanese vinyl factory in Japan. That is who's made all of our stuff since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they make highest quality, best reputation. They've been around since the 60s. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we wanted the real deal.
Yeah.
But because we're there and they are technically the biggest manufacturer, we can't go to any other manufacturer because they know that we work with them.
Right.
And they don't want to make them angry because their overflow flows to them.
Right.
So I'm sorry. So the other thing that happens, though, is they are a traditional Japanese company. So we are not Japanese people. So
Right.
we are always second in line. Anyone that is Japanese that walks in with an order goes ahead of us.
Yes.
So our stuff gets made in the uneven times, if you will.
Gotcha.
And so what gets really tricky then is that we can't scale.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead, what you've seen over the last 5+ years is as vinyl has gotten more popular, especially for more manufacturers in Japan,
mm-hmm.
is that you see our access and ability to get product out diminish, which is unfortunate. And so that's why we've been trying to figure out another way, because there is nothing more that I love. I love toys, but there's nothing more that I love than making vinyl toys.
Oh, well, thank you very much for sharing those insights on what it's like to work with factories, because the customer doesn't always get to, hear that part of the process, and it does help people to understand maybe why some products are released in the way that they are, or why some companies make some certain decisions. So that's really insightful to hear about.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. It's like there's been times where we've been like, oh, what happens if we go to that factory? We go to other factories and they're like, you're their client. We can't take you because then they might stop working for us.
Right.
So, too bad. I'm like, but you're making everybody else's stuff. And they're like, sorry.
Yeah. Wow. Very, very, very interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff.
Well, that is one of those things where it's like, sometimes they say it's not always best to be the first. Like the second person, is the one. The first person invents it, the second person makes the money, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, it's the second mouse that gets the cheese.
Yeah, the second mouse gets the cheese. So there's a little bit of that in there, although that sounds more negative than it needs to. So
cool. For Godzilla Day, we also got 2 Ultimates figures. We have a pre-sale for a charging version -1. So this is up now. You can buy it, and it ships early December.
Yeah, so they're already actually on the water.
Oh.
So originally, we were going to just have this be an in-stock item, and then it was like, we should really, let's have this be a Godzilla Day debut as well. So it is a new head, all new spines, all new stuff down the back.
Glow in the dark.
Glow, big, giant, blue, angry.
Angry, very angry. Yeah, and it's really cool because I don't know if any other merchandise on the market right now has the extended spine look. They might have the blue spines, but the extended spines is
Yeah,
actually quite
I
unique.
don't know that anybody else has sculpted all new, larger scale spines the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
So,
not sure, but I'm sure in time people will as well. I do think you are correct that I mean, same thing with the skeleton. We're the first person to do the skeleton. Uh,
right.
although I've noticed that somebody else is doing the skeleton now. Somebody in Japan's making a skeleton. I was like, oh, all right,
Okay. Yeah.
okay, that's all right. But actually, it is okay. It's rad because
Yeah.
there's that many more people that can get it. So
Yes. Yeah. There you go. Opportunity for all. Um,
yes,
yeah. This, I've always been like kind of lukewarm on charging variants, but when you have something like -1 where his shape like physically changes and you see the
yeah,
shoots like they thunk 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 thunk, right? Like it's
yeah,
like okay, you get a pass. This very cool, very cool,
yeah.
cool item here. And last piece to touch on is the poster version Space Godzilla.
Yeah, this guy.
Look at that. That again, the packaging team, so cool. Not
Look,
to to diminish the figure inside, but like just look at that.
yeah.
Oh, what can you tell me
And
about
the
this
funny
one,
part
Brian?
is, from the day we started sculpting Space Godzilla, Kyle on our team has been like, yo, when are we doing the blue one? When are we doing the blue one? When are we doing the blue one? Can we do the blue one? What about the blue one? Hey, have you thought about the blue one? Hey, I put together some ideas. One of them is the blue one, So I want to give Kyle his shout out here for
Yep.
that. This is 100% Kyle's Kyle's baby right here.
Oh
He's
yes.
been pushing for this one since since
Since day
since
one.
literally before the first Space Godzilla came out. Like
Oh
we were still sculpting it, and he was already like, when are we making the repaint in blue?
yeah. Oh, it looks so good. The vibrant colors. It's the movie poster version, but the movie poster version inspired the Trendmasters version because that's what they thought it was going to look like. And so,
Yes. I think for a lot of people, that when they see it, they're going to see Trendmasters, not necessarily movie poster, but
mhm,
that is the original inspiration.
yeah. Well, a lot of folks in my community lit up when they saw that, and they're
Yeah,
they're already talking.
I think it's really all your age, and I say that not in a
No, with love.
with simply because when it came out, I remember when it came out, and I'm like, what is that?
Yeah,
This is how Space Godzilla looks. You know,
yeah,
like, oh, these guys got it all wrong. Terrible. So
yeah.
I can appreciate it, but my gut at times is still like, it's not right.
It's not right.
Yeah, it's not right. Back to your earlier question, you had asked about other Toho Ultimates.
Oh, it was in the list of questions.
Oh, okay. Because I
Yeah.
have the answer. Because I was like, I can't find it easily enough, but I did get the answer.
Okay, because I was gonna ask. Um, we talked about it a little bit last time. There were some folks that some of my viewers who, despite all of this stuff being really cool, they were really hoping to hear more about Wave 5 because it's been a long
Yep.
time. And I know we probably haven't heard anything because things are not ready to be heard. But is there anything you can share about Wave
Yes,
5?
yes. Wave 5 is happening in February. And part of the reason that it's been delayed, because it's been done for quite a while,
Yeah.
is that there were a lot of, once again, if you've heard me talk about Ultimates, especially because of the price point, it's like we really like to pace how often they come out because they're expensive. And we know you can't buy everything. And in that regard, it's like, oh no, there's this -1 that's coming out, and then we've got this, and then you have sort of special moments and events that have to happen. Well,
Mhm.
then those start locking down spaces in the calendar, and then you're like, oh, this just keeps sliding out.
Right.
So even though this stuff has probably been done for a year,
Hmm.
it will come out in February, and there will be 3 new Ultimates that come out in February.
As part of Wave 5.
Wave 5 will be 3 Ultimates, yes.
Okay. Wow. All right.
There you go. So 3 exciting Ultimate figures coming to you February 2025.
There's the scoop. All
There's
right.
the scoop.
And it'll be a pre-order model?
Yes, this will be pre-order. This will
Okay.
be pre-order. So you'll have a month to get your orders in. But yeah, they're cool.
Okay.
One of them's really cool.
I really wasn't expecting such a direct, like, here's the scoop.
Yeah,
Because
here's the scoop. February 2025, and there are 3.
Because usually it's like, like coming soon and like something cool in that next wave, but it's like, oh
No,
okay,
this is here today.
yes,
You can order this here today,
yeah,
and there's a Charging Godzilla that shows up next month.
and
That's what's happening right now. That's 3 figures, and then we take a little break. October. Well, it's November, December, January, February. So sort of we're usually on a 4-month cadence. So come February, it's time for another 3.
Awesome. Well, wow. Okay.
Now that I've stumped you,
I am actually. I don't really get speechless, but this is pretty damn close.
breaking news.
Breaking news. That'll be the headline. Okay. All right. Well, that brings us to the hour. Brian, thank you so much for your time.
Of course.
It's been a pleasure as always.
I can talk about Godzilla all day long.
Oh, yeah. And it sounds like there will be much to discuss in short order. Yes, there we go. Dancing Godzilla.
Dancing Godzilla. Come on.
Pick yours up. Description,
This makes your heart happy.
Oh, yeah. Godzilla's good for the heart.
Exactly.
Good for the heart.
Exactly.
Brian, thank you for so much. I'll throw socials up on screen. Everyone, go follow Brian. Go follow Super7 on all the socials. And until next time, we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Thanks, everybody.